Bienvenidos y bienvenidas a una entrevista más de Ruido Blanco. Yo soy Alexis Castro y en esta ocasión estoy muy contento de tener la oportunidad de platicar con Harry the White Lies. First of all, Harry, let me tell you one thing. I personally believe that you guys have one of the coolest and best band names of all time.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Do you really value the name of your band, or is it something that, as it happens to most of bands, that you just name the band and then forget about it?
Yeah, like I feel, we don't think about it that much these days, to be honest, because we've been going for like 13 years now.
Yeah.
So we're kind of long in the tooth. We're getting old, So we just, it's just like, it just feels normal. It's like your name, It's like being called Harry. It's just there in the background,
Well, definitely, I think that naming a band is some of the most difficult tasks that a band has to overcome. And you started off with a different name, and then you came up with White Lies, which I personally, as I already said, think it's pretty cool. And I already think that it sums up kind of this different kind of vibes that the band has to offer. Like it is white, but at the same time you're all the time speaking about all these dark things and negative things. And is it something that you kind of thought it represented well what you wanted to transmit, or was that just something like completely organic?
I think it's probably a little bit of both, but honestly, it's like, as you said, it's so hard to choose a good band name. And like when we changed the name to White Lies, I think when we were like 18, like 17, 18 years old. And we were just going through so many different names, and then we just landed on that one. I think it was Charles who suggested it. And we were like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Like, and if you can't think of anything better, then you just stick with it, So, but yeah, like throughout the years, people have always picked up on the name. And I think you're right. Like, it does have a sort of link to our music, I suppose, even if it's unintentional, like that contrast between light and dark. And what a white lie is? It's like when you tell a lie, when someone gives you a birthday present or something and you don't like it, you just say that you like it anyway. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. So it's that kind of contrast between light and dark. It's like a good thing to do, but it's also kind of wrong,
Yeah, we in Spanish use a similar expression, not necessarily white lies. We say something like merciful lies.
Yeah.
So it's, I get the idea behind it, but I think that white lies represent even better the band's spirit than it would in Spanish with merciful lies or something similar. But please let me know about the present of the band. As you said, you've been going for 13 years or over 13 years, and you've been one of the most consistent bands around since 2009, something like that. And you've been consistently putting out albums each 3 years or every 2 years even. And now you're coming back with your new album, which naturally we are going to talk about as I try not to fall apart. But you are putting out an album, and the space, the period of time between your previous album and this one was particularly special, to say the least. So what changed? How is it going for the band, and where are you standing right now in comparison with your previous material?
Well, I think that the album was definitely affected by all of the pandemic, just in the state that the country was in when we were writing it and recording it. We were still kind of locked down a lot. We were kind of forced apart. We had to write a lot on our own, which was very difficult for us and something that was very new for us. And I think the album, I can hear that in the album myself. And I think I'll be able to hear it more and more as the years go on, as I listen back to it. It's an album with a lot of variety on it. I think that was born out of the pandemic. Like, we just had to try everything and see what would stick. And then at the moment, we're just getting ready for the album to come out, to be honest. We've had it for so long, we listened to the songs so many times. We just can't wait to hear what the fans are going to think about it. And and then to try hopefully to play some shows again, which will be great. Like, it's been so long, like 2 years. Yeah, and well, 3 years actually. And like, yeah, you're right. There's like a big gap between this album and the last one, but that was, I think, mainly because of the pandemic. We wanted to make sure that we could, when we release the music, that we could go out and play it, you know, because it would feel a bit strange just to put it out to the world without us going to visit all of our fans. So yeah, we're excited about that.
And I've seen that your hardcore fans, like those fans from hell for White Lies, are pretty excited. I've read some comments online that they've compared this new material, I mean these new singles, with your first material. Even they are even saying that this may be your best album yet since Big TV, which was like your big commercial breakthrough. So what do you think about those kind of expectations?
I think that that's good. I'm really glad that people are excited about it. And I think that they're right. Like, there's, you know, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of variety on the record, but there's a few songs that definitely touch upon a lot of the stuff that we were doing 10 years ago, you know, especially like a track like I Don't Want to Go to Mars, I think is so classic White Lies. Like, it sounds like the first, second album. And I'm really glad that people have picked up on that. So I would say to all the fans excited about it, there's going to be something for everyone on the album, for sure. Like, there's such a great variety of songs on there. And yeah, I think people are going to enjoy it.
And you also mentioned a couple of minutes ago that you are not used to write on your own. What did you mean about it? You mean writing everyone for themselves, or on your own, like you alone in your house?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So like, we did 2 sessions for the album. We did one session in the end of 2020, September 2020. So like autumn time, fall time. And before that one, we didn't really get together at all. Like, we didn't see each other.
Right.
We just worked on a load of material separately. I mean, we sent stuff to each other, but we didn't like see each other and talk about it in person, you know. And then we were just like thrown into the studio. And at that time, we thought that we would be touring at the beginning of 2021. So we were like, we haven't got much time to do this. We need to get it done. And it was kind of stressful, actually. Like, it was difficult, you know, having never done that before, but then also having the stress of like, you need to get this finished in a month's time so that we can get it ready for you to go on tour next year. And then obviously that tour didn't happen. And so we took like another 6 months the next year, 2021, and wrote a lot more together. So that's why, like, I keep touching upon this thing of like the variants, like the variation of the songs on the album, but that's because like they were the 2 parts of the album, those 2 sessions were done in such different ways. And I think you can hear that between the different songs, like they're, you know, some of the songs from the first session, I think especially, are like a bit wilder. They're like, the ideas are a bit more extreme than perhaps we've ever done before, you know, especially even on the singles like Am I Really Gonna Die or As I Try Not to Fall Apart. They're very different to stuff that we put out before. So yeah, I think there was great things to come out of both sessions, but the first one was stressful, you know, it was hard work. So I'm glad we got that extra time, you know.
Yeah, now that you mentioned Am I Really Gonna Die, it's one of your singles, one of your critically acclaimed, and your fans have had also a great response to it. But it's at the same time one of the things, or one of the songs that truly represent that spirit between dark and light that we were talking about. Was that something that came up during this pandemic kind of vibes, something that you kind of thought or you went through during the lockdown?
I think that every album that we've made is like a representation of us at the time that we made it. And so, when I listen back to all the albums that we've made, they always put me right back in that place that I was, you know, when we were making those albums. So I think that it's inevitable that this album will be affected by the pandemic, will sound maybe a bit like the pandemic. And but then on the other hand, like, we've always written songs about that kind of thing, you know, about like mortality and facing death and just loss or just bad things happening to you and feeling bad about it, you know. And so it's almost like we've kind of fit into the pandemic as well. Like, we were always doing that, but now it's even more relevant because people had a hard time, you know. and people, I think a lot of people need music like ours to kind of explore that trauma and that grief and like celebrate it and be happy about it almost. It sounds like a strange thing to say, but it's like a cathartic feeling, you know, like when you let go of your emotions, you feel good. You feel better afterwards, or you feel good during. And I think that's what our songs are. That's what they've always been. And so, but yeah, like a song like Am I Really Gonna Die? It's about facing your mortality, you know, and I think a lot of people have been doing that over the pandemic. So it fits for sure.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I can't wait to hear these songs live, to see that cathartic experience in a massive audience, and they all being happy about the sad things and about overcoming the negative situation that we've been all enduring. So I think that this is an album that it's coming to our ears in the right moment, and it is something that we, as you said, definitely need to hear right now. So thank you guys for your music. Thank you for going back to classic White Lies. I think that's something that a lot of your fans will appreciate. And also thank you for turning it up to 11 in some of the areas. I think even though you still have those 80s kind of vibes, it's like something you are hearing, definitely references to classics of the 80s, but with asteroids, you know? It's like super strong version of Duran Duran. If you are hearing Duran Duran, it's like a super strong version of Bowie maybe. And,
for sure.
And that's something that we definitely need right now, and not only due to the lyrics, but also in the music scene, also in the melodic and harmonic area.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I think that's so true about this record. Like, we've drawn inspiration from so many different places. And I think as we've got older and as we've made more albums, we do that more and more, you know. I don't know if it's less afraid or just like more comfortable with pursuing ideas which are very different to stuff that we've done before. You know, again, going back to like, Am I Really Gonna Die? You picked up on Bowie, and I think that's so right. Like, it sounds to me like Young Americans almost, that album.
So Bowie.
Like, yeah. And I'm glad that we've been able to do that, and it's also super fun, you know. Like, I don't think we'd ever had the confidence to do that 10 years ago, and now that we do, it's just great, like making albums like that, just pursuing these crazy ideas, you know.
Well, we can wait to hear those crazy ideas live in a full concert, back to reality, and doing the celebration of those cathartic experience that you have already mentioned, going happy about the sadness in our lives and all that kind of stuff that White Lies truly represents. Thank you for your time, Harry. I would like to close out this one by asking you to say hi to your fans in Mexico, Latin America, and especially to the listeners of Ruido Blanco.
Ruido Blanco. Yeah, of course.
It's white noise, by the way.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's something similar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like we've always had such a tremendous amount of support from Mexico, and we never get to visit as much as we'd like. I'm really hoping that we will on this album, and I think there are plans to do that. So hopefully not too long before you will have to wait to see us. But we are so excited about that whenever it happens, and we always love playing shows in Mexico and across Latin America. And a big shout out to all the fans who listen to Ruido Blanco. We love you all.
That's great, man. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.